Hello, everybody. My name is Professor Pixel, and I'm here with my friend Bankman to discuss episode 3 of Kung Fu. The name of this episode is Patience. We've been reviewing this series episode by episode, and we've made it all the way to 3. And it hasn't been that hard. You know, for a show on the CW, you could expect it to be. But we've actually been enjoying ourselves, and this is another one of those episodes. What any initial thoughts there, Bankman?
Going into this, well, actually, I thought it was going to be actually a pretty decent episode because the last 2 episodes have been building up, especially with more and more. Especially, well, we left off with the last episode. The professor is being tracked down by I forgot what her name again. It's so hard to pronounce it. Zaylin, I think it is. Is Zaylin?
Zaylin, yes.
And Zaylin, yeah. So obviously, the beginning of this episode, where they're basically waiting information, trying to get back to the professor, but they need to get a hold of the teacher assistant. The teacher assistant's busy. They're looking for any clues, anything, because apparently this professor, we remember from last episode, he's basically been studying all the ancient weapons.
Yeah.
So we get to see a little bit of kung fu in the beginning here because, well, I say a little bit because it starts off with her training with Nikki, and he keeps yelling at her. He's like, you know what? You're being slow. You're distracted. It's like, and she's like, well, if your Shifu was murdered and you failed to get rid of to stop the murderer, and they have a mystical weapon that clicked with the other ones, could basically just do bad stuff. Because we really don't know what it gives you unlimited power, but we don't know what it exactly does, though.
Yeah.
I mean,
no, you're absolutely right.
We don't know. We don't know if because remember they're guardians. We're supposed to protect these weapons. So obviously something bad happens if they're all together.
Yes. I don't know exactly how. It's not like you can combine them into one super weapon. This is my sword with nunchucks attached.
That's what they do on Power Rangers, right? They put the sword and the guns together, and it'll destroy the monster. Cannon power.
It doesn't go to that level of camp, but thanks for the warning.
That would be the best camp ever.
I have to agree to disagree. But no, I do understand why she reacted. At the same time, her saying it like that was kind of, but they quickly are.
Well, yeah, she quickly proves a point. It's like it's like because he said like, it's like not only distracted, you're getting sloppy. It's like so like she's like, wait, my kung fu is sloppy. Instantly, takes him down. Absolutely.
And from there, it just goes on as they're looking for more information, but they don't have them because the professor is missing with Zaylin. But there are a couple side plots going on.
Mm-hmm.
After she goes to the family's restaurant and she's trying to get involved again, but her mother, Mei Li, it just instantly says, no, we've got it covered. Your brother will be there. Your sister will be there. We're doing it. You're fine, because she's still giving her the cold shoulder.
They're more worried about Jerry. You remember Jerry?
Oh, Jerry, yeah, that's the name of the fridge. Because she tries to help out at one moment, and she opens the fridge door, and there's a sign on it that says, please open slowly. And she just rips it right off, and I was like, wait a minute. Wrong show. But this is one of those side plots. It also leads into her meeting a friend of Henry.
Ryan.
That's Ryan's brother's name.
Yeah, Ryan's brother. Henry is the guy teaching her kung fu. Or not teaching her, but training with her. Yes.
The potential romance.
Yes, Ryan. Yeah, yes. Ryan is basically helping out. She finds out that her brother has been taking on anybody who doesn't have insurance, who can't afford it. So he's basically like Mary from Batwoman.
A little bit.
Yeah.
But this friend of hers, I'm trying to remember her name.
Faith or Faye?
Faye, yes.
Yes.
Like
Well, it's
fairy
not. It's not really a friend. It's what it is that this girl has been coming to see her brother, and she works at this basically the. Here I go, but she works at this basically it's almost like a sweatshop, I think.
It's a fashion company called King Huang.
Yeah, but they make it sound like it's some kind of like a basic sweatshop because she's claiming how she's being overworked. You know, she doesn't have time, doesn't have sick pay, she can't afford the insurance stuff, and there's a reason for that too. Because they actually throw out a couple different ideas once find out. But like I said, while this is going around, Mary is I'm not sure I could call her Mary, but her sister Althea is getting these random numbers. And we still don't know what they are, but they've been happening since I think the second episode.
Mm-hmm.
So it's obviously something that's wrong, And the first thing that pops in your mind is like, well, is this an ex lover that's trying to get back with her or something? Is she gonna turn out to be be gay or something? And like her parents don't know because I'm like, well, that wouldn't make sense because her brother already came out, so it's like,
for a minute, and this is moving right along. They end up going to this King Kwong party in which a lot of high-profile people are there, dressed in their Gucci clothes and stuff like that. And she, the main character, Nikki, separates from her sister. And this woman comes up to Althea. And I thought that right then. Is she gay too?
Right? No,
she just doesn't want to admit it. But
it turns out something actually much more serious and something I did not expect from the show because it's been kind of campy, not really serious. But apparently, Althea, her former boss, sexually assaulted her.
Yeah,
we don't know to the extent. We don't know if if it was touching or actual full on rape. Eventually, we'll find out. But this woman turns out is basically I don't know if she's a reporter or just someone who's just basically trying to pin. Basically, anyway, her concern
get
is
her to come out with the story.
Story because they want to expose this guy because apparently he's done it to other people and. Thea does not want to take part whatsoever. She's just basically like any victim. They don't feel confident. They don't, and they think it's going to ruin their lives if they come out with all this stuff. She's trying to get married. Right now she's just got too much going on, so she's basically shunning it. So that's what's going on with her. So someone who basically we never would have thought this.
No.
I thought because I honestly thought maybe she was cheating. Or something like that. Something like that.
I thought it was something like that too, but no, it's far more serious. But at this party, she's specifically there because Faye asked her to go and try to explain that she's in the hospital right now, to say that she wants to work, but she's not able to at the moment, and she doesn't want to be fired.
And it's funny at the clinic though. Faye's got this giant duffel bag. What do you? And I love how Nikki's like, "Here, help me, I'll carry it for you." She's like, "Oh," he's like, "Freaking really lifting." He's like, "What do you got in here? Seriously, what do you got in here? Dead body?" She's like, "No." You open up, it's all like basically like pamphlets because Faye's trying to start a union for the factory she's working at because they're being paid minimum wage and she's basically putting against like $90 hat, beanies, and $200 shirts or whatever, and they're getting being overworked, underpaid. They're making minimum wage. For a company, it's only been it's never gone public, but it's basically been at work for 2 years. And there's 2 guys. There's the main guy, and his name's Eddie. I think his name is
Huang.
And then the other guy, I forgot it. I can't remember what his name is.
Is it Brett?
Brett or Bradley? Maybe that's what it is. But yeah. So Faye and this, obviously we're at the party, the grand opening they're gonna do. They're gonna announce they're going public. Nikki is basically there with her sister, and Althea basically is like, you know what? You're gonna embarrass yourself. You're gonna embarrass me. I'm out of here if you're gonna do this.
because she wants to expose them because Faye has gotten poisoned, and it seems from working conditions. However, the amount that she's been poisoned by this substance seems more in line with digesting it. Like actually
ingesting. Yeah, they said that the hospital said it in ingesting.
Ingesting,
and that's not normal because that's her brother. Her brother tells her on the phone that's not normal. She mean so, and then so obviously because no one else is getting sick. She's the only one that's having problems. So Nikki confronts this Brett guy, the guy that's he's a silent partner or guys working with Eddie, and he says basically, hey, I've been helping here. I'm pro union. But
my dad was a union man.
Yeah. My dad was a union man. Gives her all this, all this bullshit. Well, Nikki said, you know what? Since they're gonna brush me off, the factory is right connected to this building. She goes over, she sneaks into there, and I like how she goes in there, and then she finds the duffel bag's empty, and then she finds a recyclable bin. Takes a stapler, gun, and just whacks the lock, and the lock just breaks. I'm like, what?
I don't know. It's it just works out. But she ends up going into this room and finding, I believe it's papers that.
No, it's a journal. The pamphlets that are inside the duffel bags. They're all inside there. So and there's a paper. There's a list on there too. A list. So we kind of noticed like that. So basically, we find out that what's his name's been poisoning
Brett. Brett has been poisoning her.
Faye, but her tea every day, putting stuff there, and she calls him out on this, and he panics, and he locks her inside the room. She trips. He knocks the shovel over, and she trips. She's like, let me out! The door. I'm thinking we seen you kick butt, and you're stuck by a door.
I know the doors. It's my only weakness. It doesn't work on wood. No. This guy then calls up a hitman buddy, I guess he has, because everybody's got those in their pocket.
Speed out.
Hey, I need you to kill this chick.
I'm calling him Zuckerberg Jr., okay? Calling it, because that's basically what it sounds like. We're just getting Facebook. The one guy has no idea what's going on, but that guy is basically trying to take over everything.
Yep.
So while she's in there, though, she's doing her little things, little, what do you call it? Just or zen, calm herself, focusing. She's like, patience, calm down, because throughout the episode, for this, and the episode is called Patience.
Yes.
Her Shifu is basically telling her, don't rush yourself. If you have patience, you know, and because she even has a little tip with her that Shifu in her in her room, and because she's so stressed out because she's like, I failed you, and she's like, don't worry, you'll know what to do when the time comes. Don't worry about it. Just have patience, calm down, see the bigger picture. And she's like, but so basically she's like frustrated because of that. And now she remembers her training though, and we get to see the little training in the Shaolin Temple.
Yep, and
where she's gonna punch a brick, and she keeps hurting her hand over and over again. So I think it took her 3 or 4 tries before then she finally punched a hole to the door. It's like, boom! I was like, dang! I was like, that's kind of cool. But I'm thinking
she got it down. The door didn't stop her any longer. It does work on wood. But then this hitman guy that he called up comes in, and we see the door with a hole in it. She ends up kicking his ass, and she then takes the phone of the hitman, calls up the guy while
she calls Zuckerberg Jr. because he could call the hitman. She saw the number on there, so I'm thinking what she did was what she was going to do. She has her phone, uses her phone to record the conversation on the hitman's phone, or vice versa.
Yeah, basically,
because that's what ends up happening. Because the guy confesses and all stuff, and brags,
Yes.
Because and then she goes up onto the microphone. And he's like, "Hey, idiot. I'm over here, and she plays the video.
Where he calls like Eddie Huang a fool who doesn't understand anything about business. Without me, he'd be nothing. He'd still be selling T-shirts out of his garage.
And then we get to see Britt basically saying like, if it wasn't for you darn kids, and your dumb dog, I would have got away with it. So
that's basically the end of that.
Well, what's great about this, there's a follow up though, because Faye, we learned that she basically is being taken care of. All our medical bills are paid by Eddie, and Eddie actually, is going along with the union. He's backing it 100%.
Yeah, I mean, pretty hard when your COO was poisoning the person.
I was going to say, is he doing it out of kindness his heart, or is he kind of backed into it because?
Yeah, the other thing, he seems like a solid dude.
Yeah, the other thing is like, well, reason I question because Ryan's boyfriend, who we find out is actually an activist, and was basically was gonna take Huang whatever it's called down, like, well, if they're doing hurting their employees, they're canceled, they're gone. We're gonna you're gonna bury them, flash mob them, or what do you call it? Twitter mob.
Mm-hmm.
But whatever activists do. So, but I think Eddie though was a general honest guy, nice guy. Even though he did kind of brush her off though.
He threw her to the COO. He was like, I don't handle this directly. You can talk to our COO. He will assure you of anything because I don't know anything about anyone being fired for being sick. And he has to cover his ass a little bit. He is a CEO of a company that's going public that night. Something like that. But we also get a follow-up on Jerry. The mom makes them basically spend a ridiculous amount of money. And
on new hinges and plus new coils, freezer coils. For the freezer, yes. The refrigerator, yes.
They could just buy a new one.
And I love how Nikki's father, Jin, he's like, dude, tell his wife, he's like, I don't understand you sometimes, and he says it in their national or their language, Japanese, I think it is. Are they Korean? I can't remember.
Aren't they Chinese?
Or Chinese? Yeah, sorry, I said Chinese. Long leg. So. He says like it's like it's amazing how you can spend this money on the refrigerator, all information, but you can make a decision that way. But you cannot talk to your daughter and make amends with her. It's like you'll fix things, other things that don't be fixed, but you won't fix the situation with your daughter. Is what he says. It's like I love you, but I don't understand you sometimes. And he walks away and she breaks down. After that,
not just the fridge.
After that, we see Nikki walking in. Because she promised she would take Ryan's shift, he could go ahead and give a redate with his boyfriend that she ruined it or corrupted. So yeah, it's so then she basically forget it's Nikki, tells her what to do, does
There's
everything.
Some lettuce in the sink. You can
it's washing. That what throws me off. It's like, go wash the lettuce. Okay,
it's an olive branch. No, it's lettuce. Yes, I know.
I mean, you should wash your produce. Any pesticides, it's it off.
But I think that this mundane stuff isn't what we're here for. You know what we're here for? Some mystic kung fu weapons.
Yeah,
that's right.
But we're also here for Evan calling up Nikki. He's like, yeah, teacher assistant office. He said his office was ransacked, vandalized. You know about it? She's kind of like she didn't text it, and she didn't respond back. Instead, he sees the little dots where when someone's looking at the message, and then she chose not to respond. So, and it zooms out of the phone and shows the footage of Henry and her going into the teacher's office and then walking back out because they broke into it. And what's really important is what they found in there. Because it's something I think, and it's a puzzle lockbox, which is similar to what the sword was in at the monastery. And so and as well, and of course, Nikki recognizes when she sees it, can figure out it's a puzzle box. She opens it up, and inside there is some kind of like talisman or coin, but it was or key. That's right. Yes, it was significant about this is key. It was inside a crane box, which Zaylin wears. She's from that and
Guardian family.
And we're not sure what this key unlocks, but we do know that there is a piece missing from the sword that the professor said. Before. Yeah. What I love about it is she's like, wait, are you telling me that do you know this, or did I make a huge mistake? And like you're thinking like, what do you mean? Like she spiked the coffee because he's like you're gonna kill me regardless, but give me what I want is a nice espresso coffee, because. I want terms. I want something to drink, and it's basically he's like, no, honest God, I do not know where it is. And she's like, oh, she's like, thank goodness, I thought I made a mistake here, because he's like, what? And he dies.
Oh no! But
can you imagine?
That's after he gives the location of a second weapon or a set of weapons.
Yes.
And we obviously don't actually see her go get it. We hear over the news, report of ancient artifacts being picked up from this museum. And
he described what you would before she even did that. So he described it. He was like, well, I know where it is, but army, like a bunch of mercies, because it's under security. So this guy, but collectors there, it's impossible. And she comes back and she's putting a mold on the wall, and we find there's actually a giant pegboard with the slots for each weapon. So I'm looking at it. Okay, so now the two weapons that she got, they're one or two. I'm not sure, but is that considered to be one weapon, or are those two?
I think it's
one. Okay,
because it's a set of weapons.
So it makes me wonder. I'm curious now. What are the other weapons they have? So like have two sides, or have like another sword, an axe.
I don't know.
A ninja star?
Going to be throwing stars?
Yeah, I know, right?
I don't know.
Shuriken, yes.
But no. Seriously, the show is enjoyable. There are a lot of things to go through. If you're going to talk about some terrible CW TV, this isn't it. This is solid. This is decent, and I think we can both recommend it. I look forward to seeing how we go on. I don't know how many episodes were ordered for this season, so I don't know how far we're going to get with the quest for the weapons.
I think there's going to be 10. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on this, but I think there's going to be 10.
10? Okay, well, there's a major problem here. I understand she had to return home to San Francisco to try to basically get the person who killed her, Shifu. But this villain that we have is going around place by place, just picking up weapons as they come and go. Okay, well, here's another one.
I have a theory, though. The last weapon's going to be at her household.
Could be.
Scary.
We don't know. But we'll find out next time. I think now all we have to say is to make sure to leave a comment. If you're watching this series, let us know what you think of it. Let us know what you think of our thoughts on it. Make sure you're liking these videos. We want to get it up there. We're fighting the system, YouTube. They're trying to kick us down, but we got to chop it back. And make sure you're subscribed for more extreme content here on the Extreme Movie Show. And speaking for Bankman and myself, we just want to remind you to stay extreme.